across this and I really like it a lot. The air is like a butterfly with frail blue wings. The happy earth looks at the sky and sings. And now Anitra Pavlico will play a piece of music for us.
I just wanted to say that this is a piece of music that's going to be familiar to most of you. It's Spring from Vivaldi's Four Seasons, and I'm used to multitasking, being a working mom, but this is the most I've ever had to multitask, doing the work of all the instruments in the orchestra, just on the piano. But we'll see how it goes. I hope you enjoy it.
Good.
Thanks, Anitra. Great job. You could have brought an orchestra in with you if you wanted to. We have room. Okay, so next, Mel Haber, who is very tech savvy, is going to connect us to a YouTube performance by Amanda Gorman, who is the young poet who recited at Joe Biden's inauguration. And this poem of hers is called Earthrise. So, Mel?
Okay. Okay.
On Christmas Eve, 1968, astronaut Bill Anders snapped a photo of the Earth as Apollo 8 orbited the moon. Those three guys were surprised to see from their eyes what a planet looked like an Earthrise, a blue orb hovering over the moon's gray horizon with deep oceans and silver skies. It was our world's first glance at itself, our first chance to see a shared reality, a declared stance, and a commonality, a glimpse into our planet's mirror. And as threats drew nearer, our own urgency became clearer as we realized that we hold nothing dearer than this floating body we all call home. We've known that we're caught in the throes of climactic changes some say will just go away, while some simply pray to survive another day. For it is the obscure, the oppressed, the poor who, when the disaster is declared done, still suffer more than anyone. Climate change is the single greatest challenge of our time. Of this, you're certainly aware. It's saddening, but I cannot spare you from knowing an inconvenient fact, because it's getting the facts straight that gets us to act and not to wait. So I tell you this not to scare you, but to prepare you, to dare you to dream a different reality where, despite disparities, we all care to protect this world, this riddled blue marvel, this little true marvel, to master the verve and the nerve to see how we can serve our planet. You don't need to be a politician to make it your mission to conserve, to protect, to preserve that one and only home that is ours. To use your unique power to give next generations the planet they deserve. We are demonstrating, creating, advocating. We heed this inconvenient truth because we need to be anything but lenient with the future of our youth. And while this is a training in sustaining the future of our planet, there is no rehearsal. The time is now, because the reversal of harm and protection of a future so universal should be anything but controversial. So, Earth, pale blue dots, we will fail you not. Just as we chose to go to the moon, we know it's never too soon to choose hope. We choose to do more than cope with climate change. We choose to end it. We refuse to lose. We do this and more, not because it's very easy or nice, but because it is necessary. Because with every dawn, we carry the weight of the fates of this celestial body orbiting a star. And as heavy as that weight sounded, it doesn't hold us down, but it keeps us grounded, steady, ready, because an environmental movement of this size is simply another form of an Earthrise. To see it, close your eyes, visualize that all of us in this room and outside of these walls or in these halls, all of us change makers, or in a spacecraft floating like a silver raft in space, and we see the face of a planet anew. We relish the view, we witness its round green and brilliant blue, which inspires us to ask deeply, wholly, what can we do? Open your eyes, know the future of this wise planet is right in sight, right in all of us. Trust this earth uprising, all of us bring light to exciting solutions never tried before, for it is our hope that implores us at our uncompromising core to keep rising up for an earth more than worth fighting for.
So now Anitra will play us another piece of music, and she'll tell us a little bit about the composer, and the title is To a Wild Rose.
Unfortunately, I don't know very much about the composer, but I do know his name is Edward McDowell, and he died when he was only 47 years old, which is a year younger than I am. So that's a shame, but I don't know because I didn't have time to research how he died. But he was American, actually. He was born and died in New York City. This is called To a Wild Rose, as Linda just said.
Beautiful, Anitra. Okay. Well, I'm glad the kids are here. Hi, Daniel. And so our next offering is a story. And some of us have been here a really, really long time, but years and years and years ago, when my children were going to the Sunday school, Arthur Dobrin was our leader, and he would read a story once a month or so. I think a lot of times it was from one of your own stories or another folktale type thing. And then that sort of went by the wayside. So I thought today would be nice to have a story read, and it's one of Arthur's stories called Dandelions in the Garden, but it's going to be read by Lynn because she's the one who's got the dandelion in her hair at this moment in time. So Lynn, want to come up?
So if I take the dandelion out, somebody else will read it? Oh. Children, do you want to come closer so you can see the pictures?
Can't hear it.
No? Okay. Oh, yes. Come on. She's getting her brother. He doesn't want to come. It's okay. You can go. Come here. If you want to stand next to me, you can sit right there if you want. Okay, good. Oh, so you want to see the pictures too, don't you, everybody? Here. Can you see? It's a giraffe. This is from Arthur's book, Love Your Neighbor. It's spring. Basil had waited all winter for the frost to leave the earth so he could plant a garden. He hurried to the garden nursery and brought red begonias, purple petunias, and white impatiens. He carefully prepared the soil and then he planted his seedlings. You following this, Vinny? This is a lesson for you. Every day, Basil went to his garden to look at his flowers. The garden overflowed with colors, red, purple, and white, exactly as he had dreamed. But one day, Basil found something unexpected. Dandelion weeds, he said in dismay. Basil hadn't planted dandelions, and he didn't want them with their yellow petals and their spiky green leaves. He wanted only red begonias, purple impatiens, petunias, and white impatiens. So he used a trowel to dig up every weed he could find. It is a pretty garden indeed, Basil said as he enjoyed his flowers. The next day, when Basil went out to admire his garden, he saw that the dandelions had returned. He talked to his neighbor about what to do. If you really want to get rid of them, you have to keep after them, Brunhilde said. Dig them out as soon as you can. Each day, Basil crouched in his garden. Have you ever seen a giraffe crouch? They spread their legs very, very wide and they crouch, and crept on his knees. As soon as the first dandelion poked its head through the soil, he attacked it. But every time he went to the garden, he discovered more dandelions. He gave up his trowel and used a shovel, but still the dandelions grew. He pulled and plucked, pinched and plowed, snipped and yanked them. No matter what he did, the dandelions kept coming back. Every day, more dandelions. Once again, Basil went to Brunhilde. I don't know why Brunhilde, of all people. I don't think she had a degree in horticulture, but what do you do? Basil decided, oh no, we have to listen to Brunhilde's advice first. You have to try harder, Brunhilde said. If you really don't want them, you mustn't give up. Basil decided that from then on, he would sleep in the garden. He would catch the dandelions the moment they broke through the soil. But the giraffe soon grew tired. He fell asleep with his head against the fence. When the sun rose, Basil jumped to his feet and scoured the garden. He pulled a dandelion there, a dandelion here. He pulled a dandelion until he was exhausted. Basil was so tired that his midday nap stretched into a nighttime sleep. The next morning, Basil followed the same routine. But no matter what he did, and no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't completely rid the garden of dandelions. One red begonia, one dandelion. One purple petunia, one dandelion. One white impatient, one dandelion. What do I do now? He asked Brunhilde. There's only one thing left to do, she said. I suggest you learn to love dandelions. But I want flowers, not weeds, Basil complained. He thought Brunhilde was teasing him. A weed is only a name that you give to an unloved flower. Vinny, is that true? Yes. Vinny continued. You don't have to rid your garden of all the dandelions. Indeed, a few dandelions will make your garden even more beautiful. Basil thought about what Brunhilde had said, and he returned to his garden. He looked at his flowers, red. What? Begonias, purple, petunias, and white. Good. And then he could see the dandelions were flowers too. From then on, Basil made sure each flower had its proper place, and just as Brunhilde had predicted, he enjoyed his garden more than ever. A garden of red, purple, white, and yellow. Yay!
Okay, memory loss is an issue in this room today. Some people did better than others, so. Okay, um, now we're going to get very serious, very serious, very serious. And we have an expert in the room, and his name is Vinny Jaworski. Jaworski, I don't know. I'm so sorry. Vinny D. Okay. And Vinny is employed by the Cornell. I remembered the word cooperative, couldn't remember what came before it. Okay. Yes, the Cornell Cooperative, as well as Hicks, too. Formerly of Hicks Nurseries. And other nurseries and garden centers. And he's an author as well. Taught at Farmingdale State College.
Interestingly enough, I taught a course on weeds.
And he's taught a course on weeds, which I think is pretty good. Okay, and he has been a very welcome member here at the Society over the years. So I invite you to come over and talk about the value of houseplants.
Thank you, Linda. A few years ago, I was asked to do a talk at this spring celebration, and that one was about the benefits of gardening and getting out there and all the benefits besides growing something to eat, but all of the physical and psychological benefits that gardening provides. Today, I'm going to talk about the value of houseplants or the benefits of houseplants. My experience with houseplants began when I was about 4 years old, I'm told, because I don't remember. One day, I went to my dad, who used to have lots of plants and took care of them. I asked him if I could have a plant of my own, a house plant, to take care of myself when I was 4 years old. And apparently, I'm still doing that. So I have about 60 years or so of experience with growing houseplants. I have tons of them at home. Every morning, I sit at a table and have breakfast, and I have houseplants on the breakfast table. At night, when I come home and I'm relaxing, watching TV, there's actually a wall of houseplants behind my TV to look at. And the more I think about it, the more I think it's because I subliminally, or I get lots of benefits from houseplants. So I'm going to tell you about some of the physical benefits that houseplants provide, and this is actually based on the work of researchers and scientists. So I'm not making this stuff up. It's actually documented. And then I'm going to finish up with my first attempt at a poem. And I figure there's no better place to try it out than at the Ethical Society, right? So, because everybody else seems to, have poems to share with everybody. So I thought I would come up with a poem. So in more recent years, I actually studied at the New York Botanic Garden. I took a number of classes there in horticultural therapy. So this is also where some of this information comes from. It's a discipline in where we use plants, gardening, house plants, anything really involved with nature as therapy for healing physically as well as psychologically. So it is a field, it is a recognized field. I was thinking about going more in depth into that, but I was lucky enough to be hired by Cornell Cooperative Extension as a horticulture and urban forestry educator. So I'm doing it anyways because I understand how plants benefit people. And that's one of the things that really motivates me at work every day. Working with plants, working with people. My day is about 80% people and 20% plants, but that's a great balance because I know the plants are helping people. So let me get started here. There's 12 benefits that I identify with houseplants. Um, I, I know many folks have probably had gardens, homes, took care of the landscape, maybe the lawn, maybe they fought the weeds, the dandelions. One of the things that I tell people when they come to me and they want help with battling weeds in their garden or in their lawn is that I explain to them, that dandelion, just like that story said, is a weed to some people, but it's a valuable plant to others. Did you know that you can eat dandelion leaves? So it's a food. It came here from Europe as a medicinal plant. And so it has lots of medicinal benefits. I'm not going to get into that right now. It has beautiful flowers. I don't know why people don't like them in their lawn. It's really, it doesn't, I guess it's because of, some of the big fertilizer and chemical companies, but that's, a whole nother story for another day. Anyways, so how many here suffer from allergies? A few. I'm allergic to trees and shrubs and flowers. Always have been. But I deal with it, I get through it, and that never stopped me from working in the industry. So houseplants provide allergy relief. Researchers have found that rooms with plants have less dust and mold than rooms without any foliage. Leaves and other parts of the plants act as natural filters to catch allergens and other airborne particles. Common low-light houseplants like Chinese evergreens or the peace lily can do the job. Violets and other plants with textured leaves, they have that fuzz on the leaves, actually benefits you because it catches a lot of the dust and pollen in the air that's in your house, and then you can take that plant over to the sink and kind of give it a little shower and wash it off, and all of that bad stuff, the pollen that triggers your allergies, goes down the sink. So don't think of house plants as something that would encourage more allergies. It actually reduces the symptoms of your allergic reaction to pollen and spores and such. Number two, happy blooms. Plants not only brighten up the surroundings, but they can lift your mood. Employees who work in offices with plants tend to feel better about their jobs. They worry less, they take fewer sick days, they're more productive. Flowers in particular are a good pick-me-up, so liven up your rooms with blooms like lipstick plant or a fresh bouquet and see if your outlook improves. Number three, spider plants for moisture. Furnaces and air conditioners indoors can sap the humidity, especially in winter. That can raise your chances of catching a cold or the flu, or make your skin itch. It dries, that dry air dries out your skin, makes it itchy. Houseplants add moisture to the air. One study shows that a collection of spider plants in particular, but all plants will provide a boost to your relative humidity indoors. And it can raise it from about 20%, which is typical for our home indoor humidity. Whether it's winter, you've got the heat on, that's drying out the air. And in the summer, who doesn't have an air conditioner on when it's hot out? That's drying out the air too. So houseplants can help bump up your humidity by 10, 20% or more. The more houseplants, the higher you get your humidity up. And that's a benefit, again, to your breathing and to your skin. And maybe that'll help you look younger. Maybe those of us who look younger, it's because we have houseplants at home. I don't know, maybe. Number four, houseplants are air purifiers. Carpets, paint, cleaners, printer toner, and inks and many other indoor objects give off pollutants called volatile organic compounds, VOCs. I know carpeting has that. New carpeting, you get that new carpeting smell that lingers for a while. That's not good for you. But houseplants can save the day. The houseplants can soak up the VOCs. Some good air scrubbers are English ivy, a very simple and easy plant to grow, asparagus fern, and dragon tree. That research actually comes out of NASA from the space program. So they did lots of studies with houseplants to select those houseplants that are best suited for growing on the space lab and for purifying air for future journeys into space. You can grow herbs as a houseplant. Many herbs are well suited to growing as houseplant. Mint in particular is one of them, very easy plant to grow. There's lots of different mints, and they're easy to grow in containers on a windowsill, as well as on a patio or out the back door on the steps, a deck. Mint may help tamp down bloating. I'm no doctor, but this is actually from the researchers, but it can tamp down bloating, gas, and other problems after you eat. Common varieties you can grow in containers include peppermint, spearmint. That's the essential mint used for making mint juleps, spearmint. Basil. Basil is actually in the mint family. That's another herb that's often used for cooking, but you can also, it can help calm your stomach. You can actually steep the leaves, basil leaves, in water and make a basil tea out of it. That'll help soothe your stomach as well. Number 6, relaxing lavender. Lavender is a fragrant purple flowered plant that's been an important herbal medicine for centuries. You can inhale lavender oil or massage it on your scalp for aromatherapy. You can also boil the leaves for tea. Some studies suggest it may help calm you and help lower any anxiety. Research, new research is coming out every day. They're always finding new things to do with new plants. Try this yourself. Grow a little lavender, make some tea, see how you feel. You might be pleasantly surprised. A lot of people know about the plant called aloe. That's my number 7 plant here. Aloe. Anybody grow aloe? Okay, a lot of folks grow it. It's an easy plant to grow at home. It's a succulent. You can forget about watering it for almost like months on end, and it's still just as happy as can be. It's a home remedy for treating sunburns and other minor burns. It can soothe your psoriasis and other skin conditions. Rub it on your skin. Also, I don't know if you knew this or not, but now that it looks like we're all getting older, I can't stop that. The juice from aloe plant can even help you poop if you're constipated. Nobody has a problem with that, right? So that's aloe juice. Number 8, if you're suffering from insomnia and you can't get some restful sleep, put some houseplants in your bedroom. Plants take in carbon dioxide and give off oxygen. It's how they turn sunlight into food for themselves and through a process called photosynthesis. Some plants like gerbera daisies keep giving off oxygen even after the sun goes down. Put a few cheerful pots in your bedroom and the extra oxygen may help you sleep more soundly. And this is based on research. It's not just hearsay. So, stress relief. Feeling the weight of daily pressures, try and add a heartleaf philodendron or a snake plant to your home decor. It may help you relax. Several studies have measured people's levels of blood pressure, heart rate, and the stress hormone, cortisol, while they handled a tough task or were under mental stress. being around plants has a calming effect on people, both indoors and out. If you don't have the house plants, you could just simply take a walk outdoors. And we have a nice new garden to take a walk in. I guess we'll talk a little bit about that later. You can sharpen your focus with houseplants. That's number 10. Plants may help raise your test scores if you're still taking tests, make it easier to concentrate on your tasks, and strengthen your memory. Linda mentioned we have a memory problem, so maybe we have to have more houseplants in our house. Students in classrooms with 3 potted plants performed better on math, spelling, reading, and science tests than kids in classrooms without any greens. Bring home a golden pothos or a bamboo palm, and you just might clear that to-do list. So just having a few houseplants around can get you up off the couch and doing some spring cleaning. Number 11, faster healing. This is from a very famous study. Taking a bouquet of flowers or potted foliage plant to a loved one in the hospital can be more than just a thoughtful gesture. It may actually help them recover more quickly. Researchers found that people who had surgery got better faster if they had houseplants in their room or even a view of nature from their window. They also tolerated pain better and needed fewer medications when surrounded by greenery or just a view out the window of green, landscapes and trees. But you can simply just try an orchid or a peace lily. That will make the difference as well. And number 12, better mental and emotional health. Some therapists use gardening to help treat depression, schizophrenia, and other psychiatric conditions. Learning to nurture a living plant may help lower anxiety, improve attention, and lessen the severity of depression. Plants also might help people recovering from trauma, as well as those with dementia or who live in long-term care facilities. So those are just 12 of the benefits. There's hundreds of benefits of plants that at least I've come across or learned over the years. So it's no wonder that I love plants and always have. It makes me feel good, calms me down, maybe it's the reason why I am the way I am. So now I'd like to move on to my first attempt at a poem. I've always been jealous of people who can write poems and say poems, and so maybe Lynn will give me more opportunities to do the poem in the future if I come up with poems like this. So I don't know, but it's called My Houseplant Poem. I couldn't think of anything better than that. So houseplants are soothing and make good companions. If you're lonely or sad, grow a houseplant and see what happens. Houseplants are like old friends that you get to know better and better over the years. Kind of like a lot of the people here, right? Everybody knows each other for years and years. You can talk to a houseplant. Did you know that? They're good listeners. George Washington Carver. Anybody know who George Washington Carver is? He's a prestigious professor of agriculture that was around at the inception of the Tuskegee Institute when it first began. That's a black college in Alabama. They would say one of the land-grant universities. He was known for talking to plants, and he is often quoted as saying this about plants: if you love it enough, anything will talk to you. And houseplants don't criticize. They don't talk back. They won't tell you that you're getting fat or that you're old or anything else. They just like you the way you are. Like some family members and pets, houseplants don't need much. Not all, I didn't say all family members, but there were some that are pretty independent, right? Um, a sunny spot, a windowsill, water, and fertilizer every now and then will keep houseplants pretty happy. And you don't have to walk them. There's no walking houseplants. And you don't have to clean their litter box. Who likes doing that? So they're pretty easy to care for. All they need is maybe a little grooming, occasionally removing some old tired leaves that maybe turn yellow or brown, things like that. Occasionally they need a new pot, a little new soil, but that's about it over time. And yes, they make good companions, and some can live a long time. To houseplants, we're just house people who have lived together forever. We've lived with houseplants since humans first set foot on this earth. And the plants were here way before us. So it's really their earth. They existed, or we coexisted with houseplants even before there was such a thing as houses. So after all those years, it's no surprise to be a happy and healthy person, all you need is to live with a few happy and healthy houseplants, and all will thrive. That's it. You want me to write more? That, yeah, Linda Oberyn's been involved, Stacy's been involved, Lorraine Agostino's been very instrumental in coordinating with the designers, Spade and the people who are installing it, Spadefoot Landscapes. They specialize in native plants, creating natural habitats for wildlife. So their main objective is to try to change all the landscapes on Long Island into native plant landscapes to benefit basically our ecosystem, our environment, and sustain wildlife. And that's what they've done. They've come up with a great design and plan, and all of the new plants are native plants. So every one of the plants that they've installed has some kind of an ecological benefit to not only wildlife, but to people. So that's sort of it in a nutshell. Unless, oh yes, it's low. Well, I wouldn't. Yeah. Well, we're going to see about that. It's still a landscape, and we could let it go. We can make it no maintenance, and it'll just turn back into a native habitat. But I think we need to probably put some work into taming some of the plants once they get started. What you see out there are very small baby or infant plants, but give them 2 years to 3 years, and they will start to take off. Smaller plants are better suited to transplanting than larger plants. Larger plants tend to struggle when you transplant them. It may take more years for them to establish. So I like the fact that most of the plants are small, and once they're in, I think we're going to see a lot of growth next year with a lot of these plants. So don't panic if you think everything's too small. That's a good thing, actually, in the long run. And the fact that we don't have lots of people to work on it, and even we don't even have irrigation out there. Smaller plants tend to adapt better, just like younger people. It's the older, bigger plants that really struggle. And that's what we want in our landscapes. When we buy a house and we put a landscape in, we want instant landscape. That's not how nature does it. So these plants are all new to the world. They're young, and they will explode in about 2 years to 3 years. Good, thank you.
Yeah, we have a gift for all people who ventured here today, and Dave
Before I leave, anybody has any interest in houseplants, has questions about them, feel free to contact me. At Cornell Cooperative Extension, we've got lots of resources, fact sheets, but maybe we'll do a workshop one day here on growing houseplants. You know, why don't we do that if you're interested? And I know many of you are experts already because I've seen your houseplants. So I've seen Joan. Joan is the African violet growing expert. You still have them, right? Yeah. Okay. So they came with you, like family members, right?
Okay, thanks, Vinny. That was very interesting. And I love the poem. I just wasn't sure when it ended. So Vinny mentioned Spadefoot Landscaping, who are the ones who have redesigned our grounds outside. And we're hoping at the end of June for a tour, but I guess there won't be much to see even in the end of June. But it was a huge cleanup, huge, and a lot of work, and a lot of people were involved for a very long time. So he mentioned already Lynn and Lorraine Agostino, who really was the spearhead of a lot of it. Alice Sprinson is involved, and Stacy Leon, also very, very knowledgeable. She's been a great help too. Is there anybody I'm forgetting? No. And Lynn, yeah, I mentioned Lynn. Yeah, so a couple of years, it's such a long time. But we can be patient, can't we? Okay, so Jade, who is Daniel Sprinson, and Marcel, grandchildren of Alice and David, are going to give out seed packets that were donated to us by Spadefoot to the people who are here in the room. And there's, you know, when other people come in the future, there may still be somebody around. But they are for outside. I don't think you can plant them inside your house. Okay. So thank you, Lynn.
Just kidding, just kidding.
Oh. So yeah, as I said just now, you'll be hearing updates about this project in the next couple of months. I think there's going to be a spring fundraiser for it, and there will be not as much maintenance, I think, as if we had decided to do a more like manicured garden type of thing. So that's good, because not too many people can get down on their knees anymore. Okay. So now I'm going to ask Linda Jo to come up and read a beautiful and meaningful essay by Starhawk. She is a poet and an activist, and I think you'll see that on the back of or on the inside of the program, right?
Yeah, follow along in the program. We are all longing to go home to some place we have never been, a place half remembered and half envisioned that we can only catch glimpses of from time to time. Community. Somewhere there are people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throats. Somewhere a circle of hands will open to receive us. Eyes will light up as we enter. Voices will celebrate with us whenever we come into our own power. Community means strength that joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done. Arms to hold when we falter, a circle of healing, a circle of friends. Someplace where we can be free. This is Starhawk, a feminist author born in 1951.
Thank you. Okay. I have my hand. So now finally, Mel is going to connect us to a video of the Garden Song, which actually we sang as a closing song a few months ago. The lyrics are in the program and they will be shown for the people who are on Zoom. And after that, we will have our collection, which will be donated to the International Rescue Committee for Ukraine's refugees. So I asked you to please be generous, but first let's sing.
An inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. An inch by inch, and row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warn them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Sing it loud to me, come on. An inch by inch, row by row, going to make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. An inch by inch, and row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Pulling weeds and picking stones, man is made of dreams and bones. Feel the need to grow my own, 'cause the time is close at hand. Grain for grain, sun and rain, find my way in nature's chain. Tune my body and my brain to the music from the land. And inch by inch, row by row, oh, to make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. And inch by inch, and row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Plant to row straight and long, temper them with prayer and song. Mother Earth will make you strong if you give her love and care. And old watching hungrily from his perch in yonder tree. In my garden, I'm as free as that feathered thief up there. An inch by inch, and row by row, oh, to make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. An inch by inch, and row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Give it what for? An inch by inch, and row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. An inch by inch, and row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Till the rain comes tumbling down.
Okay. So thank you to Gabe and Chris, who always come through with our tech, and Mel. It was great to see that poem on YouTube today. Thank you to Tina, who will do anything I ask her to do pretty much. She's terrific. And Alice's wonderful decorations, handmade, for the stage, which adds to the, I don't know what that means. Oh, yeah, it wasn't finished. And Anitra Pavlico, who played a movement from The Four Seasons by, who was it by? Vivaldi. No, it's an inside joke. And that's it. So thank you for the people who came out in this terrible weather, you know, it was hard driving and all the rest of it. Oh yeah, and let's not forget the collection. Please be generous. And Tina will send the money to the International Rescue Committee.